Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. Bitcoin is still within this rectangle. It had a downward session with some push from volume bouncing up off the 50-day moving average. Today it's got a strong bullish engulfing pattern, but I'm not going to count it as a reversal pattern because it's in the context of sideways movement. In order to count a candlestick reversal pattern, you have to have something to reverse. So if you want to see this as a bullish pattern, it has to be in the context of a downward trend, and this little pullback is not really a downward trend. It is fairly bullish though, and it suggests that we may get resistance at 71,500 tested again. If it comes up for a third time there, I would be expecting we might be seeing an upward breakout. However, it is still entirely possible that we're going to see overall a downward swing to support at 60,700 or 58,200. The bottom line is we need to wait for a breakout above resistance or below support in order to have confidence that a trend is underway for Bitcoin and what direction it's in. When rectangles occur in the context of following upward movement, 2/3 of them will break out up, so on balance of probability, an upward breakout is more likely than downward. Yesterday's downward session has a little push from volume, strongest volume in a couple of weeks or so. However, previous strongest volume is on upward session still. So overall, the volume profile is still leaning bullish for Bitcoin. On balance, volume is within this range. There's no signal. Let's extend that out. It's coming down to test support again. If it broke below that, that'll be a weak bearish signal. ADX is declining. The DX lines are crossing over again. So there's no clear trend for Bitcoin. A potential change to down, but no downward trend is indicated. That's just a potential. With no clear trend indicated, reverting to a model of stochastics plus support and resistance would expect a downward swing for price to continue lower until price reaches support and stochastics reaches oversold simultaneously. And that may be when and where a downward swing may end. Doesn't mean that has to happen, that's just what that model suggests is quite likely. When price swings from resistance to support, it doesn't move in a straight line, and stochastics can be very choppy and overlapping as well. Technicals for Ethereum, it had a decent downward session yesterday, not as strong an upward session as Bitcoin today, but reasonably strong. A candlestick is coming in the context of a reasonable sized pullback, so I would read this as bullish. If this closes halfway or more into the body of 11th of June, then this current candlestick for 12th of June could be read as a bullish piercing pattern. We need to wait for it to close before we can read it though. Resistance above 3680 if price continues lower, support 3200. Yesterday's downward session had reasonable push from volume, so for the short term we might see more downward movement, but if we see a bullish reversal pattern, then that could be the end of the pullback. Sometimes pullbacks do end with strength. Here's an example, here and here and here as well. The last bullish run for Ethereum had quite a lot of push from volume, a lot of support from volume and an increase in range. Volatility and volume favors the upside. That's bullish for Ethereum. On balance, volume gave us a bearish signal a day or so ago. We could have seen the follow through from that. It was a fairly weak signal, only 3 tests, but it was horizontal. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend for Ethereum either. And the model of stochastics plus support and resistance would expect a downward swing to end here or very soon, as stochastics is very close to oversold. The Elliott Wave count for XRP remains the same, and I'm still expecting it's most likely we might get a slight new low below 0.4565 by a very small amount, but not below 0.4309 to complete a 5-wave mode of structure for mini wave C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The price point that needs to be breached in order for that to be invalid is 0.5079. If we see a new high by any amount at any time frame above this price point, then expect a third wave at minute degree within a first wave at minor degree is on the way up. Minute wave 3 must move beyond the end of 1, and it has to move far enough above 1 to then allow 4 to unfold and remain above wave 1 price territory. Minute wave 3 should exhibit an increase in momentum, volume and range. Let's take a look at the entire price history, just technicals, not Elliott Wave today for XRP. It's been moving sideways since it entered this range in 2018. It's got resistance at 1965 and support at 1.17. We'll have a look at the weekly time frame. There's an upward trend from here. Daily, a little bit less clear, but monthly, it's in this huge sideways consolidation. You cannot really be definitively bullish or bearish for XRP. You've got to wait for a breakout above resistance or below support in order to really have confidence in what's happening. With crypto compare data, there's this huge volume spike in October 2021 2021, so the volume data is not particularly useful. Looking at volume since then, it is upward months which have strongest volume, suggesting an upward breakout is more likely. Volume does favour the bullish side for XRP. ADX is declining, indicating there's no clear trend, but it's not going to take much to turn the black ADX line up, and the positive DX line remains above the negative line. If the black ADX line turns up with a positive slope, it would indicate an upward trend for XRP at the monthly time frame with the entire price history. That would be pretty bullish. It's extreme in that it's above both DX lines, but it's not above 45. It can get to above 65, it has previously. RSI is neutral. ATR has been showing just a very small increase. This price starts to move up off the last low for XRP, so there's a bit of support from volume and a little bit of support from increasing volatility with upward movement. Volume and volatility favour the bullish side for XRP, so I would expect an upward breakout is more likely than downward from that big consolidation. Weekly technicals, from the low back here in the week beginning 13th of November, there's been overall upward movement. Now it's moving sideways since it reached the high on the 9th of July. Resistance 55.54 cents and support about 40 cents. It is an upward week which most recently has strongest volume, but for the very, very short term, downward weeks have stronger volume, but now price is moving sideways with declining volume. ADX is declining and it's at a really low level, no clear trend. This indicates a consolidation, which is what price is doing. RSI reached oversold at the low for June 2022, strongly suggesting that that low is most likely to remain intact for the long term. Another piece of information favouring a bullish breakout for XRP. A model of stochastics plus support and resistance would expect a downward swing to continue possibly a little bit further until stochastics gets a little bit closer to oversold, or if not actually into oversold, and price may continue a little bit lower to support about 0.40 before the downward swing ends. Solana is moving strongly higher as well today. It could just be another little second wave correction. The middle of the third wave down for -3 may yet need to pass. This is the only remaining Elliott Wave count for the short term that I have for Solana. A more bullish alternate was invalidated several days ago. Solana breaking above what was resistance after yesterday's close at 157 now may again provide support. Quite a bit of space below if it does get back below support at 157 before it hits 118. Resistance above at 175. If the close of this session is above the open of this session for the 11th, then the 12th of June will be a reasonably bullish candlestick, but it won't be a reversal pattern. It doesn't so far have push from volume though, and for the recent movement, it's downward volume for Solana, which is stronger, which supports the Elliott Wave count. A bearish signal from on-balance volume a couple of days ago also supports the Elliott Wave count. ADX is giving us the strongest signal it can give. It's risen up from low levels below 15 and from below both DX lines. It's reached 15 with a positive slope. The negative DX line is above the positive. ADX tells us that Solana is in a downward trend in a very early stage. This is the strongest signal ADX can give. It is extremely bearish and supports the Elliott Wave count. RSI is neutral. There's a ways to go before it reaches oversold. And money flow is neutral. A way to go before ADX reaches extreme and RSI and money flow reach oversold. That's it from me with your update today. I hope everyone's having a lovely day.